Tottenham Hotspur are winless in the last 6 Premier League games.
You pricks! Fucking blow the whistle!
They sit 15th in the table, only 8 points off of the relegation zone, and have lost back-to-back games against teams also in the relegation fight. But it doesn't matter because they play Manchester City in a month, and we all know they're going to get a result in that match. But before we even go on to talk about all the problems that Tottenham Hotspur have this season, please do like the video if you're enjoying this Spurs poor run of form, and also comment your thoughts below on Tottenham Hotspur and on why you think they can just never ever succeed. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by April. You know, I do think we can achieve that, and all of your support is very much appreciated. And if this is the first video of mine you're watching, please do check out the rest of the videos on the channel after you finish this one. It might even further encourage you to subscribe. For all that being said, let's get into today's video and look at the failures of Tottenham Hotspur.
Do you know Tottenham?
What?
Tottenham Hotspur?
Hotspur?
No.
What's that?
you never heard of them?
No?
Tottenham Hotspur are a team that have not won a trophy since 2008, but yet are still considered to be one of the top 6 clubs in the Premier League. And in that time, between now and when Tottenham Hotspur last won a trophy, Leicester have been promoted to the Premier League, won the Premier League, won the FA Cup, relegated from the Premier League, and then promoted to the Premier League yet again, where they have now beat Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And it's crazy, but I can't enjoy any of this Spurs bad run of form. And some of you might be asking, why, Nathan? You're not a Spurs fan. Why can't you enjoy this? And the reason I can't enjoy it is because when the 26th of February rolls around, Man City are going to rock up to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and get absolutely dismantled. The same way we got absolutely dismantled when Spurs came to the Etihad and we lost 4-0. Yep, we conceded 4 goals to a team that now currently sit 15th in the Premier League. It's absurd, isn't it? It's absolutely absurd. But today we're going to be looking at how Spurs have gotten to this point, because things started off really, really promising under Ange last season, and now, like I just said, they're 15th in the Premier League, 8 points off of the relegation zone. So, how has all of this happened? Well, let's go back to the start of last season where the Ange era started and Spurs were in red hot form because Ange's fast-paced counter-attacking football took the Premier League by storm and Spurs looked to be unstoppable. And then that game against Chelsea happened where Spurs would go down to 9 men. Yes, they had 2 players sent off and Ange insisted on still playing a high line. And they lost 4-1. They lost 4-1 to Chelsea because Ange insisted on playing a high line with, yes, 9 men. And the 2 players that got sent off were both defenders. Yep, I know. Absolute insanity. Some people, applauded him for this and said it took a lot of confidence and with him sticking to his guns. But it showed something that would be highlighted a lot later on in his tenure as Spurs manager. And it's the fact that he's got no plan B.
Time for plan B.
Oh, right. There's a plan B, is there? It's just plan A was so brilliantly devised, I wouldn't have thought we'd need a plan B.
Ange knows how to play this one style of football. This one style of rock and roll, fast-paced football. And if he can't play that, then it's done. And yes, this style of football works against the big teams that will come at you and play football. And that's why City struggle against Spurs, especially now under Ange, with the 4-0 loss. That's why we struggled, because they play fast counter-attacking football. We have a lot of the ball, we have a lot of possession, and then bam, as soon as we lose it, our defenders are high up the pitch because we like to have all of our players in the opposition half to try smother them and overdo their low block. Spurs pick up the ball, counter-attack with Brennan Johnson and Timo Werner, two absolutely electrically fast football players, and then bam, they score goals. That's just what happens, and that's always what happens against City and Spurs. Always get hit on the counter, and it's no different under Ange, right? And that's what they do against big games. They against big teams, they like to hit you on the counter attack because that is Ange's game plan. But not every team plays with a high line. Not every team in the Premier League comes at you and plays football, especially when you're considered one of the big teams in the league. So what happens when they play Leicester, Ipswich, Palace, these teams that are struggling, Everton? Well, they sit back and Spurs don't know what to do. Absolutely zero ideas of what to do. They don't know what's going on. And then when they get chances, Werner's not clinical. Johnson's not clinical. Yes, Solanke is clinical. Solanke is good, but Solanke is injured. Richarlison's not clinical. And Jimin-Son's washed. So, they're not scoring goals. No, they're not scoring goals. They're not creating chances against these low blocks. But you know what they are doing? They're getting caught on the counter themselves. And they've got no fit defenders at the moment, which, again, yes, isn't Ange's fault. But you look at some of the players that are deputising in those positions, that is his fault. Where's the squad depth? Okay, you lose Mickey van der Ven, excellent centre-back. One of my favourite centre-backs in the Premier League. There's just something about his game I absolutely love, and I would love to see him at Manchester City. You've got Christian Romero, who's, okay, not the most disciplined player in the world, but he's a decent centre-half nonetheless. Okay, they're injured. Who are you playing? Oh, they play Dragazin, who's not a centre-back that's accustomed to Spurs' style of play and looks absolutely lost every time he plays for Spurs. And Ben Davies, a subpar left-back, is your backup centre-back. Okay, so there's no depth in the back line at all. You got Vicario, who's a good goalkeeper, good shot stopper, and not very good at claiming crosses. Oh, he's injured. Who's on the bench? Oh, Fraser Forster. Yes, Fraser Forster. Okay, cool. So, no squad depth at all. So, yes, they might have a good starting 11, but as soon as one of those dominoes falls, you know, it all comes crashing down and form goes out the window. And you've seen that not just this season, but last season as well. Mickey van der Ven, again, he was injured last season. He's injured again this season. And then they suddenly just become awful at the back, leaking goals. You've got Solanke injured now, which means you've got to play with a front three of Brennan Johnson, Werner, and Richarlison, or maybe throw Son in there, but Son's not the player he was a few seasons ago. So Spurs have problems, right? They have an injury crisis. No one can deny that. But the depth in the squad is still awful, right? So I don't care if they've got injuries. There should be players in the squad to cover them, right? But there isn't. There isn't. Their squad depth is awful. They've got a manager that only wants to play one style of football and will never ever be like, okay, maybe this isn't working. We might need to do something else until we've got the players back at our disposal to play that style of football. No, he'll just play his same style of football nonetheless, and wonders why he's in these positions and wonders why everyone questions him and says that things aren't good enough, because things aren't good enough. Losing to Everton, conceding 3 goals to Everton, might I add, and then losing to Leicester back-to-back is disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Winless in 6? Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Because if I can sit here and say that run that Manchester City went on, where we picked up all of those losses, if I can sit there and say that's disgraceful, then I can say this is disgraceful as well, because this is just as bad. This is just as bad. And it's inexcusable. It's inexcusable for any of the top 6 teams to do this. Man City did it, inexcusable. If Chelsea do it, inexcusable. If Liverpool do it, inexcusable. If United do it, inexcusable. If Arsenal do it, inexcusable. So Spurs want to be a top 6 team, despite not winning any trophies, then they're going to be treated like a top 6 team. And this form's unacceptable. And their fans aren't happy with it. But nothing's going to change, is it? Because Ange wants to play this one style of football. And he doesn't have the players at his disposal to do it at the moment. And that's all he's going to do is blame it on that. He's like, oh, well, this is my style of play. All my players are injured. I can't play my style of play to the best of my ability. What do you want me to do? Maybe adapt. Maybe adapt. Okay, things aren't working. I don't have the players at my disposal to play this way right now. Let's adapt. Let's maybe play a slower tempo game. Let's maybe sit back a little bit. Soak up a bit more pressure. And maybe learn how to break teams down. Nope. Has to be on the counter. Has to be on the counter. Why are teams not coming to play football against us so we can hit them on the counter? That's not fair. Nah, come on, man. Like, if you're going to be a top coach, you have to have a plan B. Always has to be a plan B. You've got to be able to find ways around teams figuring you out. Liverpool have been figured out in the past under Klopp. They still went on to win trophies after that. Man City have been figured out under Pep multiple times. Pep's always, reinvented the wheel and came back with a new system. Arteta's been figured out a few times, and yes, maybe he doesn't always come back very quickly. He comes back nonetheless. Top managers come back from being figured out. And Ange can't do that, because Ange isn't a top manager. He's a good manager, yes, and he has a very good style of play. But what separates him as a good coach from a great coach is the fact that he can't identify where there's a problem and how to fix the problem in his style of play. Because in his mind, his style of play is perfect and is the only way to play football. And that is why he won't be successful at Spurs. Okay, yes, cool. He won trophies at Celtic. I could probably manage Celtic to win a trophy. Like, let's be real. It doesn't take a lot to win the league with Celtic or win a trophy with Celtic, does it? If we're being completely honest. Now, if he won the league with Rangers, like Steven Gerrard did, I would have given him a bit of credit, but Celtic, nah, not really. And then he wanted to say that I always win stuff in my second season. Okay then, show everybody. Put this bad run of form to an end in the second leg of the semi-final. Go to Anfield and make a statement win against Liverpool to get yourself to the Carabao Cup final. If you are a top coach and you want people to stop talking ill of you and disrespecting your coaching ability, and you want to back up your statement of winning a trophy every time in your second season, then you go to Anfield and you pick up a statement win. Not even a statement win, even a draw will do you. Just a statement performance to show everybody why you deserve to be in the Carabao Cup final and back up the... And not even just be in the final, but be in the final and then go on to win the final against what looks to be Newcastle, but even could be Arsenal. Go on to win that final and show everybody you do always win a trophy in your second season. And despite the fact you've been honking in the league, you will still go down as a Tottenham Hotspur legend. A legend for just winning a Carabao Cup. That's all you have to do. It sounds simple, doesn't it? It sounds very, very simple. A 1-goal lead going to Anfield, yes. Not the sort of place you want to go in the second leg of a cup competition, especially with a lead. But stranger things have happened, haven't they? So, you know, let me know if you think Spurs are going to make the final of the Carabao Cup. Let me know if Ange is even going to make it to the second leg against Liverpool. And also, let me know when you think Spurs are going to win their next trophy, if ever. With all that being said, please do like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment your thoughts on the situation down below. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But with all that being said, I've been Nathan. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Shut down cases. They belly dots to the can't see faces. Chasing the bad guy chase it. You don't wanna be the one like Ace and like G-Take trying to turn them out wasted. Aye, tell a bad bitch come break it. Body come mad, come shake it. Shit then, get back to the basics. Bro done shut down cases. They belly dots to the